click the try again button, please.
What the hell?
Let me take a picture of this before you click off anything.
Anybody see this shit? Are you here with us at all? Hello? Hi, it's me. It's YouTube being ridiculous. Maybe you can see this, maybe you can't, we don't know.
Wow, no, don't click finish. Keep clicking try again.
There's 0% stream buffer, bit rate, it's doing shit.
It's very, very interesting. Can you guys hear me out there? Can you see me? Any of this getting through?
Anybody?
YouTube's messing with us again. It says connect streaming software.
Fucking connected excellently, as a matter of fact.
Hit the refresh button, top left corner.
Streaming software connected. Preview. Excellent connection.
Do it.
Going live. We are live.
Hey folks, welcome back to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Sorry about that. We had a little glitch in the matrix there. For some weird reason, YouTube said that I couldn't go live. It's really, really, really weird. Livingston, man, could you bring up the everything over here for me, please, sir? Thank you very much. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope everybody's having a great night tonight. Sorry I didn't get on last night. Had a little bit of junk going on. You know, kids get sports awards. It happens, and I gotta be there. So, first of all, can you guys hear me? Can you see me? What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing tonight? I see we got a whole bunch of people in the chat already. Hey, Catskill Prepper, how are you? Old Mutt in the house. Militant Farmer, what's going on? Prepping by Faith, how are you? Black Star Boys, what's happening? Hunterin, how are you? Yeah, we got a Sean, what's happening, my friend? Yeah, how we sounding? How we looking? Let me know. Prepping by Faith 5x5. You got a fan on next to you? No, I do not. It is currently off. Ripkin, what's happening, my friend? Terry Johnson, how are you? Dan H, 5x5, thank you very much. Thank you, Catskill Prepper, 5x5. Hello from Wyoming. Hello, Dwight. How are you this evening? Thank you for joining us tonight. What did I do? I lost my drink here. Texas Surplus Pro in the house. What's happening, my friend? How are you? I got to get my wings on here. This is going to be an interesting one tonight. Kill the fan, bro. There is no fan. I promise. There's nothing. There's just me. Just me. Still a fan sound. I got a ticking sound. Interesting. Very interesting. The audio on our end shows absolutely nothing. Where's the Livingston man? Everybody's here tonight. Everybody's here. And we're going to go to him right now.
Hi everyone, thanks for asking about me. We're trying to isolate this fan you guys hear and clicking. We're not seeing this on our end. I don't know what you guys are hearing. So sorry. Good, it stopped. Awesome. Maybe they were catching a remnant of the earlier one that was fucked up. We kind of had a technical difficulty there. This is the second time we had to start this stream. Everything is low now. Okay. Bump the levels a little bit. Are we better? Let me pump it up. You might hear some noise here. Okay, but I'm going to try and work with y'all. All right, I'm going to go back to Mike.
So, how's it sound now? I tip my voice carries a little bit more than a Livingston man's. He's soft spoken sometimes. So there it is again, clicking noises.
You might literally hear my mouse clicking.
Yeah, clicking noises could actually be the Livingston's mouse. He's
watch this.
Sounds like teeth chattering. Whoa. Yo, YouTube is fucking with me hard. Is that the noise you guys hear? Because that's the Livingston man's mouse clicks. Hey, Mystic Hermit, how are you?
Well, it's not okay. I don't know what's happening to you guys, but I'm sorry about whatever it is you're seeing. We're just not sure what it is. So
yeah, really weird. I'm sorry about the a purring noise. Well, I can tell you, I don't purr. Sorry. Fast typewriter. It does sound like the Predator. Thanks, Wayne Alexander. He's our special guest tonight. I didn't tell you guys. It's or a cooling fan. Wow, these microphones are that sensitive, huh?
They just might be.
It's like a violent vibrating. I agree. The YouTube games are real. For real. They are messing with me hardcore. I'm like, working really hard to try and get the channel monetized, and they really want to keep me down. They do not want to send me any money. I can promise you that. Must be some of the interface, maybe a microphone cable laying on top of a light cable. That could absolutely be Texas, and that's something that some cable management is something we might need to get under wraps here. But hopefully it's not too awful bad, and you guys can deal with it, because I promise you the content should be, almost sounds like a cicada. Holy shit. Sounds like the static you get when you're on a dial-up or someone is calling you. Oh. Trying to mac it to a chick on AOL.
I hear it. I hear it.
Uh-oh. Livingston man hears it. He's going to try and eliminate it now. You guys will have to let him know. It's going.
Whose is this?
It's no big deal. That's you.
Okay.
That's you. Wow, it's no big deal.
It's his microphone is doing that. Watch, I'm gonna click to you again.
Interesting. Could be. It's all my fault. It's all my fault.
What the fuck? Now it's gone.
It comes and it goes. It comes and it goes.
It's your cell phone. Is your cell phone in your pocket?
Yeah. Is it this? Is
Yep.
this making the clicking sound? That could be it. That's it. See, NSA is listening. That's what happens. I'll get rid of it. Sold. No more phone. All right.
It's so weird. It's coming and going. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not us doing that. That's some wild shit.
Wow.
All right.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's going now. Yeah, that's what
I'm sorry to waste 8 minutes of your night here with that bullshit, guys. But thank you for bearing with me. And tonight, we've got a pretty interesting topic to talk about. We are going to discuss what comes after the shit hits the fan. What comes after everything crumbles? What comes after society breaks down? Now, my theoretical situation here, I've had this discussion with a couple of guys. The situation we're gonna face ourselves with is that we have had a civil war here in the U.S., okay? And we have had a complete breakdown of the rule of law. And we have also had a complete breakdown of the financial system, right? So everything has kind of gone to shit, and we are in the midst of some serious civil unrest. That's our hypothetical situation here. That's what comes after that happens, because there's a lot of SHTF scenarios that we could run through. Everything from getting nuked to EMP'd to anything like that. All these things are on the table, and it's important for us to think ahead. We got to think further ahead. I know right now everybody's kind of planning for the collapse, but what are we going to do to rebuild after that collapse? How do we reestablish society? How do we reestablish things like law and order, perhaps the power grid, emergency services, things like that? Those are some questions that we're going to get into tonight, guys. I know the Livingston man's got a lot of cool stuff on keel for us here tonight. I think we've got a cool intro that we haven't played yet because we had to deal with some technical difficulties. So stick with us, guys. We're going to get into some awesome stuff here tonight, and I'm extremely looking forward to what you guys have to say in the chat, because I don't have all the answers, guys. And together, we're going to have to get through this, and we're going to talk about that tonight. So stick with us. Hudson Valley Prepping Survival.
Psych, there's still a signal. So we wanted to talk about what now, of course, the how to survive the SHTF or whatever they decided to title this video. Depends on a whole lot of things. What shit hit what fan, how bad was it, where, when, who, all this, right? So, of course, this is going to be a kind of a loose live stream, and nobody got the answer to that question because until it happens, we don't know what that's going to be, and if you don't even know what you're up against, of course you can vaguely plan for it, but you can't get into too many specifics. I mean, are we talking about an economic meltdown, a nuclear meltdown, an actual war, a natural disaster? So many different ways that something like even innocuous, maybe something you did, it's not a cataclysm, but like a festering wound that won't go away that just makes you sick and brings you down as a society. We don't know what shit is going to hit what fan. So, like, let's just play loose with it, right? So, we're going to use our imaginations and decide that society is gone. Like, draw a blank on that. The first thing that you think a society should have is based on, can't really be a society without. And what we came up with, Mike, was, and I'm going to go to Mike for this.
The rule of law. That's number one.
It's what?
I think the rule of law, when we've seen it, guys, we saw it during the Floyd riots, that when there is a power vacuum, when the police back up, that vacuum is filled immediately. It doesn't take a day, it doesn't take a week, it takes 2 seconds, and it's done. And it's all done. And the power vacuum is filled by the closest group with the biggest guns, in all honesty. And what we need to make sure of is that that is the right group of people when it happens. Because if it's not, you're basically going to have a warlord who runs a bunch of, insurgents, so to speak. And they're going to carry out this warlord's kind of will. So it's important that that power vacuum is filled with someone who the militant farmer told me has to be by the people and supported by the people. That's the biggest thing. This power vacuum has got to be filled by somebody who has the backing of the citizenry of the town or the village or even the small community. It's very interesting, but I think the rule of law is the very first thing that has to be reestablished, along with the judicial system. Now, I think the Livingston man has some ideas on how we can reestablish that judicial system.
I think what originally you're going to revert to like frontier law, the way it was kind of out in the Wild West, or common law, like stuff. It almost seems like common sense. I think that like heinous crimes will be dealt with the death penalty right then and there. You would see guns become a real equalizer. The people that don't have them will be the slaves of them that do, or they'll be dead. So there will be this period of chaos, and then eventually, like, it will coalesce into, like, well, first you get into tribalism, where you have groups who band together. Then eventually these groups will band together themselves to become like communities and towns, townships, hamlets, whatever. and this is where like we will start to see people electing, leaders essentially, proven through whatever means, whether it's merit or class or upbringing or whatever it is. So, but you will need a rule of law and to bring in a judicial system. And I think it'll be very frontier. Like, I mean, it'll be like, hangings and like firing squads and for kind of a lot of stuff, because it'll have to be harsh, or else because you'll have to deter people, because there will be lawlessness and people will try and test it. And it won't be until you've moved way forward in your progression that you'll see things like we have in the modern day, like prisons and courtrooms and this and that. A lot of this stuff will be handled by like your elected like sheriff, let's call him, right? That's where you'll start in a very primitive way, like, I think.
I think so too. I think it will be very frontier. Like, I think it'll be like the second coming of the Wild Wild West, so to speak. A lot. These people that take that fill that power vacuum. It's so important that they have the right motives and the right reasons for doing what they're doing to actually, we see it now, guys. The cops do not protect the citizens, and they only seem to really serve the interest of the government anymore. There's a few good ones out there, but basically the way that they've written the laws and basically taken the cops to just enforcers of the state at this point, It sucks. It sucks because there's so many good police officers out there who want to do the right thing, and then they make them all look terrible. It's horrible. But the sheriffs in your county are the ones that we're going to have to lean on, I think, when things start to come back. Those of them that are left, because a lot of them, it's just a paycheck, and they're done when the paycheck doesn't mean anything anymore. So that brings me to my number 2 on the list of things that need to come after the shit hits the fan, is the reestablishment of basically a new monetary system. Are we really going to go back to the dollar? Are we going to get to barter and trade? What are we really going to break this down to when we, the people that are left, the guys and you folks in the chat, we will be the ones who have to reestablish this society. And the rich folks, they're always going to want to get their fingers in things. But we are the ones who do the work. We are the ones who are going to plow the fields. We are the ones who are going to raise the cattle. We are the ones who are going to do the work. And when they come with their shiny trinkets, we can tell them, get in the field and plant, just like everybody else did, because that's no good here. Trevor says barter town. Absolutely. Sean says the paycheck part. That's the biggest thing, guys. When you're literally working for your next meal, work becomes a little bit more important. And, that's a situation I think that a lot of people will be in, is that you have got to do something to be able to justify the food that you're being fed, in all honesty. I really think that's what it's going to come down to. And if you can't, you're going to be in trouble. Let me check the chat real quick. Rapture Ready says, my surrounding sheriffs are constitutionalists. That's great. Trevor says, barter town. Catskill, no worries, my sister. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. It goes to the mark. No one will be able to buy or sell without it. You could be right. Big Chap, did y'all hit the like? I appreciate it if you did. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. Sunset says, nice backdrop. Stephen Wilder, look to your Bible. Dustin says, the politicians that are here now will try to pop out now and then. Reestablish their motives, while the ones that are still alive. Agreed. That's something we'll have to squash. Back to the Livingston man.
Some folks talking about the mark here. I ain't no expert, but I know a little bit about like biblical prophecy, eschatology. It's sometimes called the Book of Revelation, especially. It's the grand finale of the Bible, of course. And the mark of the beast they speak of, it talks about how like you'll be forced to take his mark in order to conduct trade. And if you are interpreting it this way, you can see it in that like things like Bitcoin, digital controls on money, even what they do in China with their social credits and stuff, right? They can swoop in and say, like, I mean, imagine it like just in a real super dystopian aspect. In you were naughty on Facebook, they didn't like that meme you posted, so like you can't buy dinner tonight. They've locked your bank account. That'll teach you. This is giving them this new digital realm of everything, is giving them that control, and they will be able to do that to you. And I haven't been shown any evidence from any government on earth that they won't do that. Give them something and pray they use it for good, and they won't. If you're a biblical person, the book is clear. This is happening. These are some of the end times that the book talks about. If you're an economist, you can see that it's going downhill. If you're a survivalist, you can see it's going downhill. You have common sense, you have science, you have religion, all telling you it's going downhill. What exactly is going to be the thing? I don't think there is going to be a thing. We were talking about shit hitting the fan, and I said I don't think the shit is going to hit the fan. I think the shit is just constantly oozing in, and there's no way to stop it. Until eventually we're all covered in the shit. There is no fan for it to hit. It doesn't have to. We're just going to drown in it. A slow, painful death by 1,000 cuts, if you will. Mike.
I agree, Livingston, man. The frog in the pot theory, guys. They're just going to keep turning the heat up on us. And it's just going to build to a point where some people start drowning in it. Others try to swim in it. Some have their yachts that they're just going to sail away in it. Let me check the chat here quick. Area 51.5 from Schenectady. What's happening, my friend? How are you? Black Star Boys says, be nice to have people to respect. A hard day's work again. Agreed, my friend. Agreed. Catskill Prepper says, smash that like button. Well, she didn't say that. I did. Let's see. A good, because I shared. Prepping by faith. That's why they want us this digital currency. I agree. That's trace and track every dollar. Tax every penny. I agree wholeheartedly. So, there's something I think we skipped here. Agriculture. Agriculture has got to be brought back almost immediately, or we're all gonna fucking die. Hands down. If we don't have agriculture, we are absolutely fucking toast. I think you all will agree with me that modern agriculture is the reason we're able to sustain the population the way it is. The beef farms, the chicken farms, everything, we have to have those, guys. If we don't have those, we're fucked. We're fucked. So if we don't spin agriculture back up immediately, as soon as shit hits the fan, my honest opinion is go find your local farmer and ask him what the fuck you can do to help when things get bad. Honestly, go find your local farmer and see what you can do. Because that's where your food's going to come from, guys. They have the fertile soil, they have the land, they have the tools. If you find an old-time farmer, he may even have some of those old-time tools. Maybe you can hitch up some horses and plow the fields the easy way. Maybe you're pushing a fucking cart and doing it by hand. But it needs to be done. Or you, your family, and your neighbors, eventually we're all going to fucking starve, guys. Because the industry isn't going to be working.
We talked about it.
The stores aren't there. So we're going to have to go to the farms for those foods. It's a very big thing. Hunterin says, clean water and food, 100%. Most animals in the U.S. almost went extinct during the Great Depression. Bearded observer, I agree wholeheartedly. It fucking still boggles my mind that people think that when the shit hits the fan, they're gonna run into the woods and live off all that fucking wildlife. And then I have to remind them of the stories of how New York State had to trade white-tailed deer for wild turkeys, or we wouldn't even have turkeys in New York State anymore, thanks to the Great Depression. The wild turkey was hunted here to eradication. There were no breeding wild turkeys in the state of New York years ago. And if you've lived here, you can ask your parents or your parents' parents, if they're still around, about the wild turkey population. You know, when they were younger, it didn't exist, guys. They hunted them to extinction. The white-tailed deer were very scarce, but we still had some. So New York State did a trade program with Tennessee, and we gave them some deer because down in Tennessee, the deer population was hunted to extinction. So that is a very good point, Bearded Observer. I appreciate that comment, my friend. Catskill says, agriculture and industry. Yes, we already agriculture. We can't agriculture anymore. Okay. Militant farmer.
Coming in. Yes, we've already agricultured. We can't agriculture anymore. Here's why you should. Do everything you can. Every person watching this stream, the folks you share it with, the people maybe you'll talk about it with later. I'm going to put a seed in your brain right now. Agriculture, right? So, when everyone has a thing, no one is trying to steal it from someone else. If we all learn how to grow our own food, take care of our own, take care of ourselves, you're left with no particular reason to go and try and take it by force from someone else. So if you're a person who grows your own crops and does your own thing and stuff, and a lot of us already do this, especially us you YouTubers and us, teach others how to do it, because poverty is a leading cause of just crime in general. If we're going to use that word, I'll put it in quotes, crime. It is the need of someone else to take something from someone else because they don't have another way to get it. When everyone has the means to get it, food, for example. I see the comment about would need to band together to protect the farmers. Yeah, of course. But when everyone knows how to farm, everyone's a farmer, and no one needs to target a farmer. And you can put this into any other category you want, but I feel like I'm right on this. Mike.
I agree wholeheartedly, Livingston, man. The more we can teach folks now, the easier things are going to be later. That's a big, big point. I want to check the chat here quick. Militant Root says, most wait too long to try anything drastic to save themselves. I agree. Hunter says, just call me Dahmer. That's not even funny, buddy. Three Dog, Ms. Make sure you are also storing seeds. Thanks for stopping by tonight, Three Dog. I appreciate you, my brother.
Coming in. Love you, Three Dog. Thank you for coming by. Love that dude.
Carbon Q, what's happening, sister? She says, facts. Catskill Prepper says, right, be a voice. Agreed. And if you guys out there are thinking about starting a channel on YouTube, do it. We need more of you. I'm not going to be able to do this forever, guys. And it's a blast. I really do enjoy these live streams with you guys. I do enjoy making videos. My true love is getting out in the woods with everybody and actually doing the things. Making the videos is fun, but I'll see you in the woods any day, folks. Any day. If you guys want to get out and put your gear to the test, shoot me an email. I'll go with you. It's a blast, man. I love getting out there and testing everything and testing myself. So do the things, folks. Do the things. Virginia Bushcrafter, what's happening, my friend? How are you? Northern Girl Hobbies, what's happening, sister? Rapture Ready says, cities folks will target the farmers. Good thing Jason is moving. So, Some will, but I think they're going to be in for a great big surprise because every farmer around here can shoot like a mofo, let me tell you what. And this is the breadbasket of New York State. And if you try to rob the breadbasket of New York State, it's going to be a piss poor day for you, my friend. Sean says, yes, seeds. Agree. Learn to dry them out and germinate. Karen has a 5-acre homestead. Gets 80, I'm sure that's percent of your food from the land. Most everyone here in Northwest Georgia has gardens, backyard chickens, etc. We also still gather wild food and medicine. That is fantastic. That's what I would call a self-sustaining community. And I think it's something that if we can try and develop now, that it's going to be a lot less hard on us later if we can develop those self-sustaining communities now. Self-sustaining in all ways, guys. Find yourself a doctor, find yourself a nurse, find yourself a teacher. You have to be very well-rounded. Let's see, South Jersey, what's happening? Huntrin says he wishes he owned a firearm. Me too, I lost them all in an unfortunate boating accident. Will Parker says, I hope everyone is prepared for a grid down scenario. Will, I think that's the least of our worries moving forward. I think they're going to be flicking the lights on and off on us here a lot real soon. I think they're testing the waters in different parts of the country, shutting down the grid now and then. Every time it gets warm now, they shut the grid down. You know, this was never a problem before, but now all of a sudden out of nowhere it's an issue. Three Dogs says, after shit hit the fan, guns for hire jobs will start. I agree. A lot of people will be paid protectors in one way or another.
This fella, Three Dog, judging by his name, I'm guessing he's familiar with the Fallout franchise of video games. And they're very interesting. The premise is there was a global nuclear exchange. Everything's irradiated, everything is fucking destroyed, everything is just shot. But you're dropped into it as the protagonist, and it's a wasteland, and you're left to do whatever you want to do. And what you meet is there are people who they've carved out a new society from the ashes of what was America. And yet, gun for hire. A lot of the traveling merchants in the game will have mercenaries with them to protect them. Like, they're not the ones that are badass, they're just selling goods that they've got, but they've got these dudes with them that make sure nobody acts stupid. He's totally right on this. And if you're a fan of these games, or if you've never heard of them, it's a video game, it's fiction, and as immature or whatever it may be of me to compare a real shit it's the fan situation to a video game, there are a lot of parallels, and I always thought there was some things you could always learn from a game like this. If you played a game like this, like, you have experienced a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and having done it once is better than having never done it at all, I suppose. So I'm going to go there. Three Dog, I love you again. Back to Mike.
So, the next thing that I think we need to reestablish after the shit hits the fan is infrastructure, guys. We need to start getting the wheels turning again. Now, infrastructure can mean many things. Everything from the power grid to perhaps just getting those old decrepit buildings back together. After something like we were talking about happens, a lot of things are going to be left vacant for a long time, and they're going to deteriorate. So this is something that will probably come 5 to 10 years down the road after a shit hit the fan, the rebuilding of the infrastructure, after all these other things are already established. So what are some infrastructure things that you would want back from the old world? The internet, would you want the internet back? Would you want the power grid back? Would you want Target to be open again so you could go down to Target? These are all things that we're going to have to put back together ourselves after society crumbles, after a civil war, after a natural disaster. If we're talking a nuclear exchange, there's going to be different scenarios for everything. So again, our scenario here is that society has crumbled after a civil war and the monetary system is toast, so your dollar don't mean jack squat. How do we rebuild from that? The barter system has been brought up quite a few times by quite a few people, and I think that is a great way to get started. And I think at some point we will find something of common value to everyone aside from food that that we can trade like we used to before. We're creatures of habit, so I would hate to think that you would fall back on the dollar, right? I hate to think that we could fall back on that because we can do better. I think we need to reject digital currency at all cost, because I believe that's nothing but a tracing and tracking system for every man, woman, and child on this planet. And I don't agree with it. So, but the infrastructure, what are some things that you haven't had for many, many years that you would want back? Let me check the chat here. Let's see. Stan says Mother Nature will overtake a lot very quickly. I agree, and that's where the rebuilding part comes in. Tony says libraries with lots of books. It's great. Knowledge is power. Hunter says there will be many warriors, but you will need smart people who can plan our comeback. I agree. Catskill says I don't want Walmart. Amen, sister. Amen. Black Star Boys says, personally, I'd like to see access to water again. Thank you so much, Northern Girl. Have a great night. Catskill says, I want community. Rapture Ready says, seashells for trade again. Hey, that'll do it. That'll do it. Teach morals. That's a great idea, Catskill. Lupa Gru says, check out the old video game Syndicate Wars. Never heard of it. I'll have to check that out. The Catskills and Hudson Valley are so resource-rich, local economies could grow again once the dollar collapsed, building much stronger small communities again. Rage of the state, I agree. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight and joining the conversation with us. I really appreciate it. Catskill says Hudson for NYS Congress. No fucking way. Fuck that government.
Coming in. One of the only things worse than being a politician is being somebody who wants to be one.
I highly agree with that. Highly agree with that. Let's see. Good evening, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Lady Smith, how are you?
I'm going to come back. What I mean by that is, if the legend is true, that George Washington, right, the founder, the father of America, he did not want to be president. He was like, why the fuck y'all gonna make me do this, bro? You putting this on me for real? But they were like, no, you're the guy. Like, a guy who thinks he's the guy, not cool, man. You're here for the wrong reasons. But when the people are like, no, you're the guy, and you're like, no, I'm not the guy, and they're like, yes, you are the guy. That's the guy. That's what I meant by that, Mike.
Hunter says we could just go to the farmer's market in Rhinebeck for our food. Well, hopefully.
We just get our milk from the store, too.
Livingston, man. Love him. Let's add coping skills to it. That's a good thing. Coping skills. Unfortunately, that's something we're all going to have to learn, guys. And I feel that in my heart of hearts that times are going to get really tough, and a lot of us are going to lose a lot of people that we love. And it's really going to suck. The metal that we're made of will be tested, and it's important to be strong mentally, spiritually and physically, because I think what we're up against is, the end of days could be. The end of days could be. Militant Farmer says the Livingston man hit the nail on the head. I agree. Joanne, how are you? Thanks so much for stopping by tonight. I appreciate you for being here. Haven't seen my sister in a while. She comes out to the live events. Yeah. That's right. So guys, at some point we're going to have to rebuild this whole fucking thing. Everything. Every brick from the ground up. It's going to be hard. That's for damn sure. And a lot of us ain't going to make it through it because we're going to push too hard or make a bad decision. Or because we didn't prep antibiotics. Get on those, guys. Get on those. They can save your life someday. We're in for some trying times. And we've got to think way ahead. Way ahead. So I've decided to gather some of the great minds here on YouTube, and we're going to be hosting a survival summit here soon. I'm not going to drop any of the names yet, but some of them are in the chat here tonight, and we're all going to get together and we're going to have a live stream, and we're going to discuss this further in detail, because I don't have all the answers, guys. I just try to pose some questions to you and see see where it takes us. We don't really have a script here. I got a few bullet points, and that's it. We're winging it. So the Survival Summit is something that I think we can really iron out some of this stuff and actually have a direction after everything falls apart. And it's going to take a lot of great minds and a lot of people who think outside the box. And it's really a labor of love and kind of out of necessity. So it's coming soon, guys. Look for it. The Survival Summit by Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. And we're going to hash out a lot in that. But the Livingston man, he's got something to say to you right now.
I see y'all. I'm reading the chat. The one that got some folks who do like an EMP guys. But amongst all of us, there are certain things that you will just need no matter what. Scenario be damned. You're going to need the things. I recommend you figure out what those are. They're called essentials. And you're going to need them no matter what it is that happens. And then take your niche genre prepping, like, base it off of that. Build that first and then branch out. Another one that I got me was, go back up. Hey. Personal accountability, of course. When Crackshot said the Dark Ages came before the Renaissance. Yes. It's the internet meme, if you ever seen it, where like weak men create hard times create strong men create good times create weak men. We are at a point where good times have created weak men, unfortunately. And we are about to live through the hard times that make strong men. So what happens after this fictional, hypothetical SHTF scenario is going to be the re-enlightenment, the golden age of Renaissance, as he called it. So, and by God's grace alone, some of us may get to play a part in that if you do the right things, whatever those are, now. We are in the bad times. We're heading toward the hard ones, but we're going to come out of it great. And just to keep going, there was a third one. They talked about when people flee New York State. I'm staying. Anybody who's got means to leave, good. I didn't want you here to begin with. You're probably a transplant anyway, like you city folk, like army ants. I hope you just keep moving along and go somewhere else and leave my beloved Livingston finally to us who were actually live here and born here. Mike.
Livingston, man, dropping it on you. Dropping it. And that is the angry truth, folks. So, Livingston, man, could you catch the chat up for me? Karen says that people have made fun of her for old-time ways her whole entire life. Yes, you are, Bogue. Yes, you are, Bogue. Big Chap says, soy boys. Put a small Bible in your pack, says Rapture Ready. Keep it in your head. Keep it in your head. Dino says, it's not a hard summer either. Look about 10 years to get it right after the American Revolution. Yep. So it's gonna be a long haul, guys, to try and come back from something like that. The rebuilding process is going to be intense, and a lot of it's going to be for just for the overall good of everyone. You have to do things for a better purpose sometimes other than money. And that's a hard concept for a lot of people to pick up, is that you do things because it's the right thing to do, not because you're going to get paid to do it. That's tough for a lot of people. Dino, thanks so much for being here tonight, my brother. I appreciate it. Hudson says he couldn't agree more, Livingston. Or I'm sorry, Hunter says he couldn't agree more, Livingston. Militant Farmer's not leaving. He loves being behind enemy lines. That's right. In the People's Republic of New Yorkistan. Oh, you definitely have a Hebrew name, and I'm not even going to try and read it, but you're in Poughkeepsie, and you're not leaving. Thank you, my friend. We're here with you. Sean says, walk with God, love, but do not be deceived. Rapture Ready says, get dental fix and stuff. Now, that's a big thing. That's something that I've been doing recently, is getting up on my doctor's appointments, guys, making sure everything's good, trying to get a little more physically fit, lose a little bit of weight, cut back on the cigarettes a little bit here.
Excuse me. What's the matter? You got a problem with my broken teeth and my glasses or something? Or are you just picking at me right now? What's happening here? Get you dental fix and stuff. Get extra glasses if you need them. I hope you ain't poking at me right now.
Rapture Ready doesn't poke. Rapture Ready doesn't poke. And it's an Arabic name. Yes, my apologies. Yorkistan. Put it on a t-shirt. I'll buy it. That's right. Soon enough. Soon enough. Check the Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival store. Coming soon. The New Yorkistan t-shirts. Any chance of bringing back our constitutional republic, says Will Parker. Any chance of bringing back the constitutional republic?
I'm going to go coast to coast on this.
Now, let's talk about the constitutional republic. The constitutional republic is dead. It's absolutely dead.
I flew 200 miles just to chime in on Mike's comment.
Love having the Livingston man with me.
I'm at our best.
Yeah, that was...
I got here as quick as I could.
Wow.
He talked about a constitutional republic. And I felt like I had to get here quick. All I want to know is how is our constitutional republic working out for everybody right now? We're having this fucking conversation right now. You want to talk about our constitutional republic? Do you mean the one that existed like 100 years ago? That'd be cool. This one we have now, I don't want to save this. This house is rotten, and it needs to be demolished and rebuilt. There is no saving it. No amount of caulk, patch, fucking Bondo and hole filler is going to fix this atrocity that they have placed us in now.
Sad but true, guys. You know, when Benjamin Franklin walked out of the creation of the constitutional republic, and somebody asked him, what have you given us? What have you given us? His reply was, a constitutional republic, if you can keep it. And the price for that republic was eternal vigilance. And it's something that we failed on. You know, everybody said, don't talk about politics and religion because it's going to create some beef and a little bit of, you know, a little bit of abrasiveness. And what it did was it took people's eyes off the government, and it allowed them to do what they've done. And here we are, folks. The Republic is dead. We live in an oligarchy now, hands down. The rich elite run this country, and
oligarchy is not a Russian word; it's a Greek one.
It's French for rich elite. But yeah, it's dead. It's dead, and there is very little chance of it ever coming back, in my opinion. I don't know. You know, people always say, restore the Republic. It's dead and buried, guys. It's gone. It's gone. And the eternal vigilance, you know. We all should have been watching C-SPAN all the fucking time. But, you know, MTV had some wild shit on, so we had to check that out.
Ever watch C-SPAN?
Yeah.
You might as well go down to the local nursing home and listen to the Alzheimer's patients fucking give a speech. And a bunch of legalese, and the other thing, I don't know if it was Thomas Jefferson or John Adams or whoever, but they were like, the laws cannot be so voluminous and so vague and so fucking complicated that people don't understand it.
Exactly.
You absolutely have that these days. You can break the law and not even know it, and it's your fault.
Exactly.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Like, but yeah.
Yeah, but the laws are written so that
the tax code is like I can't even fit my hands on the screen how thick the book is.
you could fill up a room with that shit, guys.
The collapsitarians, I see it being called. I see a lot of people like felt me on that, where it's like you can only put so much caulk and fucking patch onto a structure before it still just can't stand anymore, or the only thing holding it up is some bullshit, and that's unfortunately I think where America is at without some kind of progress, whether it's bipartisanship, whether it's like just realizing that just because the other side had an idea but you didn't have the idea, so it's a bad idea, that attitude's got to stop. Like we talked about tribalism earlier.
Yeah.
But choosing sides in politics is kind of like tribalism, is it not? So I leave you for at least a minute until I chime in again with that thought.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Chat is lit. Chat is lit. What do you guys think would initiate a civil war? Do you think the Roe versus Wade ruling could be the catalyst for shit hit the fan? I think it could be like the Floyd riots 2.0, but maybe on steroids. It's very interesting. I think tomorrow they said that they're actually supposed to rule on some of this stuff. So y'all keep your head on a swivel. If you're anywhere near highly populated areas, pay fucking attention to the news, because the protests will be spontaneous and they will be violent. I guarantee that. Because if they can't kill their babies, they're gonna fucking kill you. Believe it. Sad but true. Catskill says, it's so hurting the heart being in DC now, seeing stuff. Everything going on now is a joke. Yep, I agree.
I think you're right. I think that in the face of Roe versus Wade being overturned, I think we talked about this in another stream. I say that a lot.
We talk
a lot of shit. But it boils down to the states' rights. Now, and if you are, say, a New Yorker, or let's call it a blue state, right? And Roe versus Wade is overturned, there are automatic trigger laws in the same way that there are in the so-called red states, where if Roe versus Wade is overturned, these guys have laws that automatically make abortion illegal and they treat women like shit. But in blue states, that's the opposite. If you are one of the privileged few that lives in New York, Connecticut, California especially, then Roe versus Wade being overturned literally doesn't affect you. Now, that is not to say, and women, I know y'all, it's got the sisterhood going on, and it ain't for me to talk about whether this ruling is right or wrong, and I ain't gonna. But there are so many protections in place, like society is basically ready to disregard this ruling if necessary, and it's kind of a moot point. It's just another question of them making a law that nobody gives a fuck about. And people who choose to enforce it will, and people who choose to not enforce it won't. So, Roe versus Wade being overturned, big fucking loud headline, sure. Civil War, no. No.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I think.
What's
I don't
the
think
fight
it would.
about?
I don't think it would kick off a civil war. I think they're going. So they've already put out memos about a night of rage. If the Supreme Court rules that Roe versus Wade is overturned, that there's one particular group, I can't remember the name of it, Joni's Revenge or something like that. They have pledged to, if we can't, they said if we can't rest, you won't either, or some shit like that.
I already can't sleep. What are you gonna do? Keep me up harder?
Yeah, they're gonna go for it. They're gonna burn down your local fucking CVS. That's what they're gonna do.
Good. I don't shop there either.
And like I said, Floyd riots on steroids, especially in the big cities. You may see some folks out actively protesting at, abortion clinics or things like that, or right to life places, churches.
Wait a second.
Jane's Revenge. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hold up. Now, so it's generally, it's conservative, like Bible thumping, red hat wearing Republicans that are pro-life, right?
Right.
So when they're going to come out to protest this, it's a little different. I don't think we're going to see like the Molotov cocktails, the police cars getting turned over. I think you're going to see like a peaceful protest.
Oh no, these folks are ready to kill you.
Who?
Because you won't let them. What was the name of the group? Not Jane's Addiction, William Alexander.
Them too.
Jane's Revenge. They have basically vowed violence in the face of overturning Roe versus Wade. So definitely something to look out for, guys, and fucking pay close attention to the news.
So wait a second. Now, see, I baited you right into this.
You did.
There's a big difference between which political party is protesting, it would sound like.
Well, sometimes things seem to go a little differently depending upon which political party is protesting. It's, when the right goes out with their signs, nobody fucking listens, nobody gives a shit. Whatever. Angry Prepper says, well, I say bring it. Hey, let's get it on! Let's get it on! I agree.
Tired of waiting, honestly.
Yeah. Kick this shit off. By all means.
Oh man, look at this chat go.
Fucking double standards.
We brought up a
Agreed,
hot
Will
button.
Parker.
We brought up a hot button issue, is what we did.
Big Chap. Where is Big Chap's comment?
I like Rapture
Roe
Betty's
versus
comment.
Wade
You shouldn't
never
know
did
how to
get
spell
abortion.
a demon's name.
Herself later became a staunch advocate against abortion. Yes, and I actually heard that on her deathbed she confessed that the whole thing was an act. The whole Roe versus Wade thing, that she just played a part. Somebody asked her to do it, they put her up to it, and she played it to the bitter end. Mama Rocks Homestead, how are you? Thanks so much for being here tonight. I believe there's another group called Ruth was here. I'm sure there's a lot of groups. There's a lot of people
Yeah, they've
who
lost me at this point. I don't even know what the chat is on about now.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Jason's in here. Angry Prepper's here, everybody. That's why we're all here. We were just hoping a real celebrity.
Yeah, see,
would
I even
appear.
wore the Angry Truth shirt tonight.
Trying to. I know he's
That's
got
my
a.
brother.
Does he have a? He has a link. How do I get that?
Oh yeah, no, you go to the Angry Truth channel and there's a whole splay there for my brother.
I'm fitting to go like work
Yeah,
for
he's-
him too. Like I was on his stream the one time. I felt like, oh shit, I felt at home on that shit.
Angry makes everybody feel at home.
I felt good about it.
But guys, I don't want to keep you all night. I'm sorry about the technical glitches earlier. It really was a pain in the ass, but
I gotta fly back to my original position. I'll be right back.
hey, thanks so much for stopping in. The Livingston man was here live with me. He flew here really fast. Let me check the chat before we go. Let's see. Money makes actors. Agree, NorCal. With a lack of real men, I may become a spam donor.
I'll see you then, my friend.
Hunter, did you mean to say spam? Yes, he meant to say spam. You know, this is a family-oriented show here, guys. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Let it rip, guys. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking with us. There's some links down in the description section to Jace Medical. You can get yourself some antibiotics there. There's also a link to Grail. Grail makes some incredible water filters. They're not just filters, they're purifiers. It does so much more than a Sawyer or a platypus. They're incredible. Check them out. They're in the link down below. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you spending your Wednesday night here with us. For myself and the Livingston man. We appreciate you. Thanks so much for being here. Stay safe. Pay attention to the news as these Supreme Court decisions come about. I would hate for anybody to get in trouble and say that I didn't tell you to keep your head on a swivel, guys. Much love. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. And we'll catch you on the next one, folks. Have a great night.